What's up, guys? It's Breakout Bag Lunch, and we're back with another trade recap. Today is February 24th, 2026, and unlike yesterday, I did take a trade that turned out very well. I'm excited to review this trade, so I'm just going to get right into it. But after that, I have some additional comments and some updates, so please make sure you watch until the end of the video. You won't regret it. As always, I'm going to start with a high-level overview of the market. If you look at the 1 hour chart, you will see that this area of support that we hit yesterday actually got touched twice, once in the overnight session, and then we had a very strong wick down in pre-market. Overall, we are still in this very strong consolidation. There is no very strong bullish or bearish medium-term trend at the moment, which is important to keep in mind. But my idea was that, again, if we had a move below this area of support, a strong move below, and had a retest up and a bearish reaction, then that would signal that this area was no longer support and would be resistance, which would give me more of a bearish bias. But if we had a break above this area, an area that I mentioned before, an area that's been acting as resistance, then this could become support, and then we get a move higher. But as of now, again, there is no very strong trend. If we go to the 1 minute chart, we can review what happened just before and during the open. On the 1 minute chart, you can see that there was no strong trend either in the overnight session or during the pre-market session. We just went above VWAP, below VWAP, above, below, below. And then, like I said, we were still in a consolidation zone between this area of support and this area of resistance. When the open of the New York session at 9:30, we had a huge move down, a very strong bearish trend. But notice how we only got a wick below this 5 minute opening range. Or rather, I should say, we did get a couple of closes below this 5 minute range, but all these candles are wicks. I did not take any short entries because I typically like to wait for a retest of VWAP or a retest of a fib area, which we didn't get. If you look here, we had this move lower below the 5 minute opening range and then a spike up. And since we were so far below VWAP, I wanted to wait for an actual retest of VWAP and then maybe a continuation lower, and that would have added to my bearish bias, but we didn't get that. We just had a strong move up. So strong of a move that, in fact, we went above VWAP. At this point, I would say around 941 to 944, my bias changed to bull. I'm not gonna lie, because this bullish move was so strong. I was thinking, oh my goodness, is this going to be a repeat of yesterday where price just goes in one direction and we don't get a pullback? Wanted to take a trade today, but I wasn't going to force anything. I just stayed patient, and that ended up being a good thing because we did get that pullback. For the bullish trade, I was looking for a pullback to a fib area and VWAP, which we did get. Fortunately, originally I had my limit order just below VWAP because what happens a lot on the 1 minute chart is that you get a small move below VWAP and then a spike back up. And also notice how just below VWAP we have this golden pocket for fib. I'll admit I was patient, but I wasn't quite patient enough because I moved up my limit order to 68, 61.75. Now this was a bit of FOMO, I'm not gonna lie, because I was worried that we wouldn't quite get the move to the golden pocket and I would just miss out on a nice move back up. We did get the move back up, as you can see, but I definitely could have waited because we had this very strong red candle. At this point, I was getting nervous, but I decided to stay in the trade because my stop loss was a little bit below this. I think it was at around 68.48. Anyway, we got that move back up above VWAP, and then actually this could have been another potential entry. Granted, I was already in a trade, but if someone wasn't in a trade, this would have been another good place to enter with a very clean retest of VWAP. And as you can see, we just moved pretty much straight up. Look at all of these green candles in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. After this correction, we went to the moon, and I was able to cash out on a nice tidy profit of a little under $370, as you can see. In terms of improvement, well, this is something I have a bit of a problem with, but I just need to make sure I'm more patient. I think that's pretty much it. The setup was great, and other than the entry that was a little funky, I'm pretty happy with the trade I took. And by the way, I took the same trade on the Apex account, in case you're wondering. I haven't forgotten about that account. I got a better entry on the Apex funded account, and on Apex, since I use 5 macros instead of 3 macros I use on TOPSTEP, I netted a profit of, I think, $700 or $800. I have to check again. Those are the trades for today. And today's green day is special. If you're watching up until this point, thank you. But today's green day is special because I now have a large enough balance in my TOPSTEP account to request a payout, which is very exciting. Before, my account balance was a little over $200. You can only request 50% of your profits, at least initially on TOPSTEP, and the minimum payout request is $125. But with my balance of $579.59, I can request a payout because half of that is greater than 125. I do have to wait until market close to make that request, but you believe me when I say that as soon as I can, I will get that payout request submitted. So now it comes to a point where I have to think about what's next. Now that I have more momentum, I should say, and I have a more consistent strategy, I'm going to be opening more accounts. I'm going to try a combine or try another eval for TOPSTEP or some other prop firms to increase profits and, you know, get the bag, right? That's why we do this. Trading is great, but we also like the financial reward. So I'm going to be working on scaling the trading business, and I do have some exciting updates now that I've reached a point where I've gotten the first payout. So if you're still watching to this point, stay tuned for future videos because I'm going to have a big channel update coming. Alright, that's all I wanted to mention for today. If you have any additional comments, any questions, anything you wanted to let me know,